We have 5 directors here. I have a quorum. Would you, Shirley, please do the invocation?
Pray with me, please. Our gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day at Fort College Springs. We thank you for all the blessings. We ask your blessing on this meeting today, and we ask you to help those that sit around the table to make the correct decisions to benefit Fort Clark. We ask your blessing on our servicemen and women the world over. Please bless their families while they're away. We just thank you for all blessings, and we pray we can be more like Jesus. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Announcements and correspondence. Roby, would you read what we have, please? Anyone?
The first is from Elizabeth Marshall. I, Elizabeth Marshall, due to personal reasons, regretfully withdraw my nomination for the 2013 Board of Director election. Signed, Marcy Marshall, on the 15th of January. And then one from Ralph Slade. I was absent from last board meeting due to a serious illness in the family. We requested to be there in case family member died. I hope this cause is acceptable to the board by majority vote of the board. Ralph Slade. And then we have one from Barbara Dillon to the board of directors. Please place the name of Phyllis Giblin in the nomination to replace Steve Giblin on the architectural committee. Mr. Giblin has resigned as he is the new head of maintenance. And then we have a golf committee nomination of Richard Laxon.
Could I have a motion to accept Ralph's?
I make a motion that we accept Ralph's absence due to personal family matters.
I'd second that.
All in favor? Motion carries. Approval of minutes.
I move that we approve the regular meeting of December's board as written here. Approve the minutes. I move that we approve the minutes of the December meeting as presented. I second.
Are there any corrections?
Doesn't appear so, no.
All in favor? Approved. Approval of the financial statement.
I make a motion that we approve the financial statements as presented to the board for audit.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comment?
When we approve these, how do we change them later on? How are they changed by anybody or the auditor? I mean, it's supposed to be the approved financial statement, right?
You're approving your preliminary budget or the preliminary financials, and it doesn't really get closed out until the auditor stamps the sign of approval at the end of the fiscal year.
So will we see a changed version of them before they're,
Maybe at the end of the fiscal year, if there were some adjustments that need to be made, but you can't go back to a month once you close it. So let's say we close out December 31st, I can't go back and make adjustments in our current system. I have to make any adjustments in September at the end of the fiscal year, and that all gets adjusted in September. Come to
Right.
find out.
right, but we should see them and then approve that as the deal for audit, right?
No,
No, at the final audit.
no, the auditor does that.
We will approve it when we get the final audit.
If the board approves, you cannot go back and change it.
Correct.
Just
Not exactly.
I know, it's complicated. Any other questions? All those in favor? All those that oppose? 3 in favor, 1 opposed, motion passes. Approval of transfer of funds?
I make a motion, we approve the transfer of funds as presented to the board for payables and payroll.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? 4 voting. Motion passes. May I have the Director of Operations report, please?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Try that one. Oh, it's alive.
Well, I can officially say it has been a long 5 months, and I'm still not on. And much has happened in 5 months, as everyone pretty much knows. For the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to struggle with how I can put this into perspective for everybody. It's a lot of changes. As Mr. Robertson said during my interview, way back when, in June, I believe, he said this is a train wreck. And then progressive, two months into it, he said, I told you it was a train wreck when you started, when we interviewed you. And he couldn't be more direct and more truthful. It was a train wreck. I don't think there's any denying that. Can you point one finger at some individual? No. It's a collective of just maybe 25 to 30 years of ups and downs. And I think there's a lot of people that's come and gone who have contributed to some successes and maybe to some failures. And I'm up until 1 o'clock in the morning every night this week thinking, how in the world can I put this into words to explain to the people what I've accomplished in 5 months, because it has been a whirlwind. Any given day, I think everyone would be surprised of what comes across the table. From little stuff to major fires to, I go home at the end of the day and I'm thinking, what in the hell did I get accomplished today? And then in putting it in perspective, there's a lot that's getting done. And to put that into words is almost impossible. We've had a lot of staff turnover. And change is hard. Sometimes it's necessary. And sometimes people just can't see the change or want to be a part of the change. And that's okay. There's no right or wrong. There's been a lot of misperceptions that maybe I'm difficult to work with, but I can guarantee you anyone who has quit, there's not been anyone fired. But everyone who has quit, they could not tell you any personal story where I was mean to them. Now, do I have a different idea? Probably. Does it mix with some? Probably not. Probably doesn't mix with a lot of members out there. But we're trying. We had a lot of people come in that are new that, I said it before, we didn't have training manuals. And these people who've come on and the people that have stayed with the company, they're digging in deep and they're working together. And I couldn't be more proud of that accomplishment. People are working night and day, coming in early, staying late till 10 o'clock at night sometimes, especially Carla, Rihanna, Jennifer. People all across the board are working so hard to make this right for you guys and to put it all in and let the cards fall where they may. Am I going to make mistakes along the way? You bet I am. It's a lot to figure out.
But am I going to be honest and transparent with you guys? Absolutely. And with that, I want to show you guys what the board is seeing. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to do this, but then the other part is like, it's your money. I want you to see what we're working with, and there's nothing to be hidden. And I put together this Excel document of finances here that I've been able to give to the board, and for them to be able to really analyze what we're working with. So it's going to be up for scrutiny. Also know that we are working towards moving into QuickBooks, and here it is.
Really?
Really?
It's on.
It's actually
All right, we work on technical difficulties. This worked yesterday. I want to introduce one of our newest team members here, which is Rihanna Hay. And here she is.
say something.
No, I didn't even hear me.
Talking about throwing you off the bridge.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm Rihanna Hay, and I started October 29th. You know the day you start. It's been probably not the most conventional, like when you first start a job, but I said I wanted to be part of the community, and I have to say, not only Bracketville but the Fort have been very open and wrapped their arms around me. It's really been nice. People at the bank, the tax office, and I would never think I would like the people at the tax office, but they have been a lifeline. They've even walking across the street and show me how to like use stuff at the courthouse. So it's nice. It's sometimes, you know, the picture is much bigger than what you think. A lot of times when you start somewhere, my 7th grade band director always said, practice makes permanent, not perfect. And a lot of times when you're stuck with something and you keep being trained by the same people over and over, you pick up bad habits. This way, it's a clean slate. And everyone has been very patient and nice. And come by and have a cup of coffee. I mean, we want it. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't have a board. So it's been a pleasure. And when I say this, it's like the sign across the street. You know, where's your heart? Whoever put that's awesome. When you drive into town, because it is. When I walk through the door, I do check my heart and why am I here? Because I don't necessarily have to be here, but it's fun to be part of an office family in this community. And I can honestly say, with Jody, her heart is in the right place when it comes to the Fort. She does have a passion about this place, and if you don't see that with her personally, drive around. This place is really looking good, and people are waving and smiling again. It's nice, and thank you for your patience. And one thing that we can look forward to, mark your calendar for March 30th. It's going to be our annual meeting, and we would love for you guys to come to the meeting and have lunch. We're going to do it a little bit different. I think we're going to go for fajitas. Don't be mad, because I don't like barbecue. And then it's Easter weekend, so we're hoping to kind of get together something like a little Easter egg hunt for the kids and stuff. But questions?
And what is your job?
I'm member services.
Thank you.
Please excuse the handshake. I should not have drank coffee today. Anyways, I'm Rihanna Hay, and I'm happy to see all you guys here.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we still by time here? We also have a new addition as well, which I'm happy to introduce Mr. Steve Giblin, who's our new maintenance manager. Can you come up here, please, Steve?
Or a clean shirt.
This is Steve just completed his second week, and I've noticed that in the 2 weeks he was sick with a cold, limping. Yes, and he's still here and he hasn't quit yet. So I don't know what his wife is feeding him, but he's still here. And Steve, why don't you tell us about some of the latest activities you and your team have been working towards and on?
Gosh, I wish I'd made some notes. I had no idea. A lot of priorities, but the number one, because it's one of the first things people see, and I think one of our real keystones is a swimming pool area. And the guys are really leaning to, and with the help of a couple of the guys over at MUD, we're able to replace all those rickety ladders. They don't attach to the sidewall anymore. They go all the way down to the bottom. Now, there's not a one of the welders was trying to put a step down at the bottom of the 9-foot. There's not steps all the way down, but at least you don't have to take one of your legs and stick it up above your head, which I cannot do, and climb up out of the pool. I used to have to kind of go down to the little kiddie end and try to get out gracefully. So anyway, pool repair on the ladders. When the pool was empty, obviously, Thursday. A lot of repairs around the pool area. Some of the park benches were rotted. It's just a matter of going to Del Rio and getting the wood, and we're going to slap some paint on it. Next week when we drain the pool, it's going to be paint city. Everything that used to be red is going to be red again. The ladders, we've done some tree trimming. Just, you know, it's a 100-year-old swimming pool, and I don't want to mess with this integrity, but it's just a facelift. Along with the same with these buildings around here. I love their historic value. I'm not going to alter anything about it. Just a natural facelift to bring it back, you know, to the way it was. It's going to take time, and it does, and money. You
didn't get anything.
For painting this kind of thing. I've learned my 4 Clark colors finally. I've got the serial numbers, you know. There's the buffalo brown, there's the creamy cream, there's about 4 basic colors, and you go to Home Depot, they said those have been discontinued years ago, except for a couple of them. But D&D, bless their heart, they've got it on file. But anyway, I'm going to slap paint on anything that'll stand still. That'll help, and we're repairing a lot of items. The amphitheater, well, I looked at those benches, and of course what I wanted to do was replace every bench down there, but I know that, you know, money-wise, it's a little bit at a time. So next best thing, we've got a nice redwood stain going across all of that, and, you know, just make it pretty. And cutting some of the trees back away. That old building to the right that I think it maybe one time was a ticket booth is going to be a concession stand. Back to the pool, that barbecue area down there by the playground, we're going to paint all of that, redo the bathrooms. There's picnic tables over there that I guess were functional at one time, but they're just butt to butt and rotten wood. Some of them are concrete I'm going to keep. The wood one's gone. And then of course at Rendezvous, there's a lot of work to do over there. A lot of the tree trimming, that old bridge that you walk across. Just amazing what red Rust-Oleum and that red underneath with a brand new white trim on those rails just pops out just like that. RV park, we're putting Band-Aids all over the place. Bless Shirley's heart. With the day room over there and some repairs on the outside. You can't see daylight from the inside of the building out anymore. It's the crack is still the crack, but it's covered up, and that's you know what we can do. What we can do right now. Just the guys overall. I don't really have a whole lot to compare it to. I was one of the biggest complainers probably of anybody on the fort about there goes two guys in a truck. Where are they going? There goes two guys. You know, why would it take two guys? Well, now from the inside looking out, there's reasons. Those two guys may have just unloaded a 500-pound refrigerator. I may have just sent those two guys to a project to work together. Instead of taking two trucks, they're taking one truck. And it finally dawned on me that would be the thing to do. Being human beings, of course, there's a lot of things that human beings do that I don't care for. And right now, we have a little communication problem. We're fixing to get our neck stills back, so it's kind of like trying to herd cats right now. I got 10 guys, and Jody's always asking me, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so? And sometimes I can tell her, sometimes I cannot, but I'll find out where so-and-so is. As soon as we get those radios back in our hands, my job will be a whole lot easier. Thank God for Joe over there, to whom all blessings flow. At 42 years of his experience, I ask him all the time, where's the key to this, where's this, but I finally learning my trash days and what's required and this kind of thing. But just in the 2 weeks, I have seen a pickup of attitude over there. It's a fine line, guys. I want to install a little bit more discipline, pick up the pace. I also have to remember what the budget, our budget constraints are, and I know what the salaries are for each one of them. I know we're in Bracketville and not Houston, Texas, where I'm from, but it was a step back of about 30 years when I saw the salaries. But in spite of all of that, the guys signed on to work, and when they're here, they're going to work. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Just give me a little bit of time. We're taking one thing at a time. Post theater, some work to do over there. Let's see, Army Park Post Theater, Rendezvous. Art Club was able to do a little bit of repair. Now that's another building that in some areas it looks like, you know, termites holding hands. Everything is just it looks like what you would picture an art studio to look like, you know. But I just don't want the ceiling falling in on. And so we've done some things over there, and it's just a maze of wires. And if you ever want to see, and I was plumbing for 40 years in Houston, if you ever want to see a training ground for plumbing, crawl underneath the motel sometime, just really. And, you know, this pipe goes here and there. It used to go here. We capped it off when Patton was here. You know, we ran it over here when Wainwright was. I don't know. But it would be a really training ground. I've seen things I haven't seen in 40 years, plumbing-wise and electrical-wise. So, thank you for your support. You got a problem, just call me, you know,
What's your
we'll
phone
get to
number?
it. My phone
Just state secret.
It's secret. No, you keep me on the work orders if you want, but some people no kidding have to call me directly, and it's going to get done just pretty much as quick either way. You know, I make probably 2 or 3 trips to the office. I make them, not trying to keep people out of there. Our guys out of there pick up the work orders, you know, like you always say, you write complete. If there's a timing thing, I call first to see what's convenient for you to get that stump out of that green area next to your house and that kind of thing. And you know, I'm learning, but it's just a an ongoing thing. So call me with anything you need, and we'll address it as quick as we can. I've had 2 complaints. There's good with bad and all that. I've had 2 complaints this last week on trash. One guy said we missed his cardboard. Another lady on her trash. But you know now from when you see these guys go around, you know about what time they're going to be there. So on one instance, they finally said, yeah, I was late getting my thing out there. But that's okay. We'll make a, when I was thinking the other day, just to catch that, I'll make a second run with one of the light pickup trucks and the ones that maybe got their garbage out a little late. I don't want it sitting out there, you know. So, you know, you're late putting it out. I don't want to sit. We'll make a pass through real quick and get that. But you kind of know when they're coming, so put it out there. And boy, I've got some, every time I go down, I see ideas left and right, things I want to change and things I want to facelift, but I'm sure you've got a lot of ideas too, and I would appreciate very much your input on those kind of things. You know, a railing here, a bent rail over there, a little touch of paint here and there, something that's really costs that much. It's just the effort of doing it. Once it's done, it's done. So give me those ideas if you would, and we'll blend them in and so forth. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now is the other.
It's on. We're ready now. Let's turn the lights off.
Yes.
I think those of you who've been coming for the past 5 months know that I created this based off of the financials that the board gets. And this is just bringing it up to speed. This is the month of December that we're comparing here.
Jody, you're gonna have to increase your view on the Excel spreadsheet so that we can see it back here. Maybe one more, I see it right here.
I can't do it one more.
Okay, I like that. There you go. Too much.
You just have to narrate.
Okay.
There we go.
Hallelujah.
All right, so this is December 2012. This is the December budget comparison, and then December 2011. Reason I have some of these things highlighted because this is stuff that sticks out to me. The depreciation expense there, where it says $25,000 this year, that's an addition because we added the 2 brand new trucks. And this is the frustrating thing when I show this type of thing, because this is basically set up for an auditor, and this is not your actual money in, money out. Some of it is, some of it's not. For example, we don't pay out $25,000 a month in depreciation expense, just for an example. The same thing with the bad debt expense. So let me get you the total of the income. There's the differences, which obviously we are, whoa. Sorry, that was the expense. There's the income. $136,925, which last year they brought in more, obviously. Our expenses were up as well compared to last year. Where you see the credit card fees, the $2,099. I don't know if you caught that one, Mr. Robertson. Mm-hmm. We went back and pulled that, did some investigation. On December 4th, an employee made the wrong entry, and what's in there is a computer software expense that got put into, by mistake, the credit card fees. So we didn't have $2,000 in credit card fees. Total expenses, we were $98,466 compared to $92,061 last year. You can see the differences. Maintenance expense was up a little bit. You can see the biggest one was because we bought gas for $3,845 compared to that almost $2,000 that was made an entry and then taken out for some reason last year. It's kind of your big difference there. Otherwise, we are under budget. Security was pretty much the same. We're going to be a little bit more on security compared to last year because I added a person full-time to cover that morning shift. We used to only have one person covering the morning shift. Total for admin expenses. Just those of you who don't know, security, maintenance, landfill, it all falls underneath admin expenses. So total everything combined, we lost $4,000. You can see that there. Golf course income, you can see the difference is $12,953 in income compared to the $5,769 last year. Big difference there is because everybody was paying their green fees, their annual green fees. I'm sorry, I'm lying. What happened is because everybody was paying their annual golf membership.
and it got entered in December. Pro shop expenses, you can see we're up. And you see the big jump there, which was the payroll. And just those, for those of you who don't know, for about 5 years, we're pretty lucky in paying a lower wage for a pro shop manager because of certain situations. And when we had to kind of flip it around and put somebody in there full time, obviously we had to make it a little bit more adjusting to what a pro shop manager might make, which still isn't much. So there's going to constantly be an offset compared to this year and last year because of that fix. Golf maintenance expense, I'm so proud of Domingo. Out of every department, Domingo has, you can see when I first started, it was a high expense, and then over the past months, you can see the gradual decline in expenses, and then the consistency of being the same, which that's huge. He's made a huge impact on golf maintenance. Motel income was down compared to last year. There's your profit loss, the $9,596. And then total with the maid expense and motel expense, we profited $3,809, which is a little bit down from last year because they had higher income. RV park is always the lifesaver. It's a pretty big increase, Shirley. Congratulations. I'll give you a day off, okay? You can see the profit loss there, $14,000, $14,041. The real estate, we're getting there. We don't really put a lot of numbers in here. We took the real estate expense. There was a person's salary that used to come out of that, and now I just have it being taken out of admin instead. Recreation, all that's just going to be losing money. So let's get down to the big one. So our total P&L for December was $6,834, which were up from last year, which they only profited $1,782. And the other big one that I've been monitoring, I put into my computer, in my Excel document, every single check that we write out. And so I keep an actual, like, what we are spending, and I look at the bank account every single day, and my bottom goal here is just to continue to give us more cash flow and to start putting that into a savings account for like a rainy day fund, because this isn't a lot of cash compared to what size of a business we are. So if there's anything, an emergency situation, we don't have a lot of cash flow. We're averaging about anywhere from $150,000 to $160,000 a month in expenses. I've done just about everything I possibly can to skim everything back. I put the spending freeze. Yes, people had to call, get verification to see if they could buy something. Didn't necessarily say no all the time, but it's a matter of priority. Do we really need it? And that's an effort of let's really scale things back. Let me see what we're spending money on and find a better way of purchasing things and making sure we're maintaining once we do buy those. Because the last thing I want to do is impose and the board as well, is impose a fee on the membership, whether it be raising rates or a one-time assessment. So I'm doing my due diligence, and the rest of the team is doing their due diligence to get our spending under control, to scale back as much as we can before we ever have to come back to you guys and get into your pocket. And this is just an ongoing challenge. So you can see this year, at the end of December, we had $454,945 in the bank account, up from last year's cash flow. And this is after all bills paid. So we don't have any outstanding checks that is actual in your account. Every payroll, we're averaging about $30,000. So $60,000 a month is what we're spending on payroll. For the month of December, just to give you an idea, checks that we wrote out was approximately $110,000 in checks. So we're on it. I know what your in and out is, so meaning your income in and expenses out. It's kind of a snapshot. We are going to be putting a lot of this stuff on the website. All the minutes will be posted on the website, most likely over this weekend. So I want people to be able to funnel through, look at the website. We'll put a link on what the Texas property code is, so you guys can do research if you've got concerns. And this is another step in being open and transparent. It's a double-edged sword putting this up on the website, but you know what? This is what we deal with. There's nothing to hide. We're not misspending money. It is a double-edged sword. So this will probably most likely be going up on the website under our documentations. There's nothing to hide. Next part of this is putting this into perspective. I get asked quite a bit, what have you done in 5 months? What's kind of the plan? What's the goals here? And the only goal for me, really, is to create a foundation that you guys can build up on. And that first achievement, this is going to be a continual challenge, which is the financial responsibility. Meaning watching your expenses, budgeting, doing what's necessarily right for the fort when it comes to making money, spending money. Again, this will never go away. It'll be a constant. Second thing that I was working on and have been working on is team development. I believe that any successful company comes from your employees. You have to have successful employees. Employees make you or break you. End of story. So I had to work with building the team. However it played out, it played out. We've got a team here that's okay with the change, going to move forward. And that team also encompasses the board. And then that encompasses the membership. We have to be a team to make this really work. Not one person can do this on their own. And some of the things with the employees, Steve touched on it briefly. Some of these situations are very, very sad to me. You're talking about 7 years that's gone by that employees didn't have reviews. And the only increase in pay they got for a majority of them was the cost of living increase. And that is really, really sad. And you've got some people who've been here for 20 years plus hovering around the minimum wage after 20 years of service. And it's such sadness. There's been many times that have brought tears to my eyes, hugging people. And it's part of my effort to make it right for a lot of these people who've put some blood, sweat, and tears in this company and who were overlooked. I am going by department. We're doing a 3% increase in salaries, and after that, it's up to the department heads to do reviews, give them benchmarks, and then give bonuses and pay increases based on performance. If you don't know what is expected of you, how can anybody fulfill that if they don't know what's expected? Developing, teaching skills. I think it's really sweet to see some people amongst Steve's team learning how to do some plumbing and excited that they're learning something. And my personal philosophy, if you're not learning, you're not living. So I like to see that development. And if some people end up learning something from here and they can move on and get money, more money somewhere else, that's amazing. With that, and trying to explain, I mean, we took away insurance, neither here nor there at this point. Another part of my thing is to be able to save money so that maybe we can at some point look at providing insurance again. But even if we provide insurance again, at least something, because of the low cost or the low amount of money that they're making hourly, they can't even afford $185 a month deductible or $150 deductible out of their paycheck because they're already so squeezed for money. And you're talking about these are people that have families. And it's really, really sad. Just want to clear up some stuff. I never said to anyone that they couldn't do side jobs. I get it. We can't just go right now and pay people X amount of dollars. We can't afford that right now. We will in the future. But if you need a side job, go have a side job. The only thing I said is don't use Ford equipment. Don't call out sick and take a personal day and get paid from it here and go get cash over from another resident. That's not okay. So it's team development. It starts here. The next thing we're working on is some TLC, tender loving care. A lot of these buildings have been neglected. I'm going to show you some photos because a lot of you have not been in some of these buildings in a long time. So I prioritized it by the most pressing to things that are going to be too expensive, and we've got to work towards and come up with a real plan of fixing some of these other more expensive buildings. TLC is the painting, the cleaning, the tree trimming, getting the trails fixed up, all of it, organizing. And that's the phase we are in now. After we do the TLC, which is we're cleaning our house, because before I can invite somebody over for my party, we have to have a clean house. So once we get things cleaned up, we're going to utilize some of these buildings so that they could be revenue generators for us. And that's going to start the grassroots marketing and fundraising. So in the next 6 months to 8 months, you'll be seeing new billboards. You're going to be seeing new flyers. We're going to have a real event coordinator that's going to book these facilities out, probably like they should be, advertising that we have rental facilities, because we have some really nice buildings here, which all of this sell more memberships. When you look at the financials, your biggest moneymaker are your memberships. We're averaging around $85,000 a month that we're bringing in residential memberships. That's your money generator. So it all comes down to how we're going to get this place fixed up enough to be able to go showcase what we have and get the buy-in. People, it starts with vacationing here, taking them out, letting them see our trails, swimming park. It starts there. That's your biggest moneymaker. The next part of this is just some snapshots of our buildings and where we're at. Obviously, is our admin building. Gorgeous, right? Don't look at my shadow in the picture there. But this is what's going on upstairs. It looks great outside, it looks great downstairs, but upstairs is a complete nightmare. The board is aware of this. This is one of our most pressing issues because it's an electrical fire hazard. So here's what's upstairs. This is all of our wiring. That's just a piece of it. This is the main wiring that goes downstairs for us. This is also our trash bin. Now, there's a lot of stuff up there so paperwork gets shot up there from, accounting to, it's just, there's no telling. By law, we only have to keep records for up to 7 years. So at some point, we will be getting a commercial shredding company in here and going through and getting rid of the 1980 paperwork that we probably don't need anymore. Right now, we are playing roulette. I should have went back. Yeah, upstairs is a definite fire hazard, and it is very, very scary. There's some windows that in the past, even now, when it rains, it leaks, and there are electrical outlets that are exposed that water is just seeping down the wall right to the electrical outlet. It's a very pressing matter. Here's our swimming pool. Reason swimming pool's first because we all know this is a big, big, big draw. I can't find any records on the last time this was painted. But like Steve said, it's getting a makeover. This metal grate over here on the left side is completely almost rusted through. That's getting repaired thanks to the help of mud and then our maintenance staff. The ladders, you can see that one's broken from the concrete. That did just get repaired on Thursday. There they are extending every single ladder in the pool to the floor and replacing steps that were rusted out. This is another part of the mud staff. Susie painted, did the primer. In the next few weeks, our staff will be, painting everything, the top rails, the ladders. And I just have to say, mud probably just saved us about $6,000. And they spent all day from 8 a.m. until about 6 o'clock at night working straight through with some of our team staffers as well. Between the swim park and the amphitheater, I plan on I want to start using this. I went outdoor movies this summer at the amphitheater. I want to use it for some concerts, some community events where we can celebrate and have a good time. Joe made this. This is kind of the step in the right direction. Joe was able to clean some of this up, make a new sign. This is getting all painted. We've done tree trimming at the amphitheater. We're starting to paint the benches, staining them, repairing benches. It was really refreshing to go down on Thursday and see the mud team, our maintenance team, everybody's moving and hustling and bustling, and it feels good because we're taking pride in our surrounding, in our community. And it is only with that it's teamwork that these things can happen. And it's really, really, really refreshing, and it's light at the end of the tunnel. Post theater. There's so much we can do with post theater. And yes, our sign is getting fixed, and it should be coming in the next 3 weeks. I know it's been an eyesore for quite some time, but I think with the help of maybe preservation and the fort and maybe some sweet volunteers, we're going to get this thing really popping. It's not going to take much, just a little tender love and care. And again, I think we can use this building as a revenue generator of some sort, plus community gatherings. I don't think it's being used as well as it could be. Seminole Hall. This is inside Seminole Hall. This is to the left once you walk in the door. Out of all the buildings, once you start comparing Seminole, Dickman Hall, and Commissary, this one's structurally probably in the best condition after the Post Theater. Once the pool and amphitheater and Post Theater starts bringing you in some money, we'll start by maybe getting an electrician in here, making sure that everything is sound electrical-wise. Look at how much you do it in increments. The next group of money would go towards possibly plumbing. How much is it going to cost us for the plumbing? And you take it in steps until we can actually utilize this building as a moneymaker. And we can figure that out once we get to that point. Fire station. I think the fire station has a lot of potential, but it's quite disgusting inside. I think that we can go in as a staff and clean this up. Brace yourselves. There's molding on the walls. This is a mattress that's wadded up with mold. I don't know who did that nice construction work. Whoever PE is. And then we go to, there's a lot more for fire station, but I'm trying to keep this quick. Dickman Hall. I know a lot of people, including myself, want to see this fabulous building turned into something, possibly, hopefully, the restaurant again. But we're a ways away. We've got to do these other steps before we can really focus a lot on Dickman Hall. Here we go. This is your kitchen at Dickman Hall. At some point, someone went in there and stripped everything out that was worth any money. That's plywood floor you see there with glue stuck to it. All your ovens are gone. Now, granted, this Vinahood and the things that are left, yeah, that's expensive, but there's a lot of cleanup. And again, electrical issues. I don't know if you can see on the wall there. Again, a lot of electrical issues. This is downstairs. All that carpet was ripped up. You got concrete and wood. That's the bar. A lot of holes in the flooring. That's upstairs where the fabulous red carpet's at. And then last but not least, the big one that's going to cost probably the most amount of money. I'm going to go back on Dickman Hall. I think about 2 years ago, somebody came in and gave a rough estimate on Dickman Hall. And again, we would do it, almost we'd play as our own general contractors as much as we could and do it in increments, the electrical, plumbing, and then we'd go into the foundation part of it. Commissary. Here we go. That's the second floor. Second floor and third floor, if you look around the windows, that's going to be expensive because it leaks and it's obviously washing away the rock around the window, which probably structurally, if you wanted to fix that, you'd have to come back in and reinforce it with some concrete. That's on your third floor. Pretty much every window up there looks like that. And this is the other great thing. Do you see the electrical outlet on the window? And then the wire coming down here on the baseboard. Not safe, and it is live. Oops. What if I can go back? Let me go back to that last one. That's on the second floor, and that kind of gave you a better shot of the window. And that concludes the little slideshow. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Jody. Let's move on to our committee reports. Architectural.
Yeah, we've been, we had a 2-week hiatus because of the holidays, but we met last week, and a couple new ones, and this coming Tuesday, we have some more.
Louder.
Louder?
Yeah?
You want me to yell at you?
You can if you want to.
We took 2 weeks off during Christmas.
Thank you.
I couldn't talk anymore.
Got a mic over there.
And we had 2 last week, we'll have 2 this week, and we're still looking into working on the CC&Rs and putting them in conformity with the Texas laws.
How's that coming?
Well, we put a little stop on that, I think, because we were going to wait until after the election, because we're going to need board members and architect committee people to work on that together. So rather than have somebody on the board now that may be leaving or whatever. So we put a stop on that, but I'm working on it myself. I'm looking them over and trying to compare Unit 1 to Unit 5 or 6 or whatever, and see how much of the wording is the same.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the biggest changes will probably be, or the differences will probably be in what each unit by rule is, CC&Rs is allowed to do. But
Thank you.
everything else, we want to try to get the wording that is the same, so if we have a unit 38, 39, or 70, or whatever, that the generic part of it is all the same, and just the individual requirements will be different.
Thanks. Recreation?
Yes, we will have our monthly potluck Monday night, 6 o'clock. You know, y'all, this is a social event where we can all get together, where you can't invite everybody home to dinner. Well, this is a time that you can. Just bring your part and let's fellowship together. We have a good group that comes, but looking around, I see we have a good group that doesn't. So we would love to have y'all at 6 o'clock. We are planning a poker run for March, and so usually that people enjoy that. But this monthly get-together is very important, and we're getting better acquainted and knowing each other. So you're missing out if you don't come, and we're missing out too. Thank you.
Thank you. RV?
Well, the RV park was well in cooking this morning. We had a large crowd for breakfast. Last week we had 71, and I didn't get the count before I left this morning because it was still going on. But breakfast is going strong. Stitch is also, and Bible study are both going strong in the kitchen every day. Every Wednesday and Friday for Stitch, and Bible study is Wednesday at 10. We're having good crowds at those. Our potlucks on Tuesday night are going well. And we have a lot of games going on at night in the day room. And the day room did receive a lot of tender loving care thanks to maintenance this week. We got the cracks all closed in. The birds can't come in anymore. And they were fixed on the inside and out, and it looks really good, and I really do thank maintenance. And also they removed a bunch of old stumps to make our yard look much better. And I'm real proud of that. Those things have been there and needed to be done for a long time. Our finances, as Jody showed you, we're doing pretty well. A lot of our workers are leaving, and we're going to miss them because they've been really good. The last 3 months, we have showed a profit of $57,000, over $57,000 at the RV park, and we're running an 82% occupancy for the last 3 months, which I'm very proud of.
All right.
All right. That's about all, but we do invite everyone to come out and enjoy breakfast and come out and visit with us at any time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Golf?
We had 508 rounds for members in December and 85 rounds for non-members. And I'd like to tell or ask people who do golf, one of the ways, well, the way that we get discount is through the sign-up sheet. A lot of members are not signing in, and we need those rounds to, calculate how many we're using. So I appreciate it all if you would sign in. The next volunteer day is Monday, February 4th, and this will be getting hole number 1 ready for sod and grass seed application next spring, similar to what we did on number 10. And I'm sure everybody has pretty much seen number 10. It looks awesome. And that's what we're planning on doing hole by hole. There will be a volunteer sign-up sheet, and we're going to ask that phone numbers be required just in case there's a cancellation so we can reach people. And we're going to ask you to bring a bag lunch, please. And hours will be from 10 to 2, and try to raking and whatever. We'll try to tell you what tools to bring. And there will be a layout of the hole on display to show what's being done, such as where the tee boxes, the trees, sprinkler heads, landing areas, where those are proposed to be located or relocated. And another thing, I would like to also encourage golfers to please observe the 90-degree rule on the fairways. The course is very fragile right now because it's wet. And no carts on par 3s at all unless you have a handicap. And let's see, what else? And, the forward, again for golfers, the forward tee boxes have incorporated a silver tee marker for those men who are age 80 and over, so you can move up to the forward tees.
All right.
The end of the month tournament is scheduled for February 26th. And also, by the way, the course will be open this Monday, January 21st.
Did you mean January 26th for the end of month?
I'm sorry?
Did you mean January 26th?
I did. I did, but the computer put in the wrong date.
Thank you. Preservation?
The committee has agreed pretty well on one building that we're going to zero in on and do a facelift. And now we're just waiting for bids to come in to go ahead with it.
What building is that?
We're thinking of the post in.
Community council?
At our last meeting last Saturday, we had election of officers and then upcoming dates and activities. February 9th, we're going to have Meet the Candidates Forum. That will be at the Service Club, and I'm thinking it's 10 o'clock. It'll be out on the board there. Is Diana behind me?
It's at 10 o'clock.
Thank you. It is 10 o'clock with a very brief community council meeting before we actually do the Meet the Candidates Forum. New Year's Eve party made about $1,200. That's for Fort Clark Day, so that was a resounding success. The chili cook-off is going to take place at the Butcher Block on January 28th. Sue Martin is getting both like corporate people in, businesses, community groups, and churches, as well as private citizens that we've always had in the past. So with having it at the Butcher Block, we're hoping to have more of the outside people come in as well and take part in that. Valentine's dinner on Valentine's Day is underway. Sue Martin and Teresa Bridger are in charge of that. The bake sale for Fort Clark Days, Judy Winchell is in charge of that, and I know that she will appreciate you all signing up to bring something for the bake sale. I know the bake sale last year made more money than ever before, and so we've got the new goal to meet there. Cavalry Brigade is meeting on February 2nd at 9 o'clock to clean up in and around Shafter Hall. Judy's going to be making lunch, so please come out and help. We don't need any special tools or anything else like that brought in. Very good. So please just bring yourselves to come in and help with that. We would like to give Steve a great big thank you. I turned in a work order for getting commissary plumbing checked out and asked to have all repairs and have that working for Fort Clark Days, but we asked to have all the repairs done by February 1st. It came in at least 2 weeks early. So thank you so much for getting all of that done.
I would also like to make a report on the donations so far for Clark Days. At this time, we have $6,725 worth of donations. The Gun Club, we really want to thank the Gun Club for their generous donation. And they requested that this be spent on the living historians. And at this time, we have over 100 historians coming to Fort Clark Days. We've got food vendors lined up. Of course, we need cookers for the chili cook-off. We also want to let everybody know that safety is our #1 concern for the Fort Clark Days, and especially on Friday with all the children here. We have buttons for sale. That button will get you $1 off of your chili ticket, or 50 cents off on beer if you buy those buttons beforehand. And again, we would like to thank all the people that donated to our silent auctions, and to everybody that has donated so far to make Fort Clark Days a reality this year. Thank you.
Recycling?
Recycling sent another load beginning of January. We couldn't send as much as we had collected because there wasn't room on the truck. But, so we're back, I believe, to about 18 Gaylords full already. And when you shred all that stuff upstairs, recycling will dispose of it. So, we're doing well. I have to shout out a huge thank you to everybody who's volunteering to work there. We had an illness situation this morning, and it took me less than 30 minutes to find a replacement. So we really appreciate all of the work time, because they still do. You know, they're there to help you, not to make life difficult. So be nice to them, please. I don't want to lose them because they get right back. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you. Next item, approval of a dump trailer. Before I ask for a motion on this, I would just like to briefly say what this is for. This is going along with something Jody is putting together to take and change the way we do something here on the fort, which is pick up our trash. And we'd like to accomplish that on a one-day thing a week instead of multiple days. So this particular trailer is designed to hold whatever's put in it, but it has a dumping capacity. And we're looking at getting two of these, one now and one later, to take care of the two trouble places we have here that need attention all the time, and that is the RV park and Unit 1. So that's what this is all about, just so you understand what we're talking about up here. Can I have a motion, please? For approval of this dump trailer?
After looking at the pictures of the dump trailers that were presented to the board, I make a motion that we go with the first picture with the solid sides in case we have any leakage from our trash. And from looking at the total prices new, bringing in taxes and stuff, that we go no more than $7,000 per trailer.
Do I have a second on this?
I'll second that motion.
Discussion?
Where is the money coming from for this?
Where is the money coming from for this? You can answer that, Jody.
No, I know I can. Well, here's what's going to happen. Now, obviously, is this going to be the cure-all for Unit 1? Those of you who live in Unit 1, I know your challenges. Because there's several different locations where you currently have trash receptacles. This is an attempt to... Is anybody from Unit 1 here?
Nope.
Way to show love, Unit 1.
Mr. White.
Mr. White.
So anybody who's taken a gander down to Unit 1 can see how bad the trash situation is. Having the trash trailer, this is going to come from our general fund, Mr. Salade, to get to that point. I priced them out anywhere from used. It's anywhere from $2,500 to $7,000. And there would be a cover that would come back and protect from varmints getting on top of it. By doing this, I averaged out that we would spend $3,000 a year on manpower, staying at the current rate we are now. So by having a trailer, eliminates manpower, eliminates the cost of fuel, because we're currently going 4 times a week to pick up trash at Unit 1. So this would just this is something that hooks onto the back of a half-ton truck, easily be pulled, hauled off to the trash landfill, and dump and come back and be able to rinse it out and whatnot. So general fund is where it would come from. And Ruby, I think you asked the question. It's going to save us it's costing us $3,000 a year, roughly. Any other question?
So the intent to buy the new one or to buy a used?
You know, I've seen a lot of good things on Craigslist that are lightly used for around $3,000. So I'm going to try to do our best, working with Steve, our maintenance manager, to get the best bang for our buck.
Okay, so $7,000
As
isn't
a max.
necessarily the price we've paid.
Correct.
The maximum, we're
Would be
looking for something
cheaper. Mm-hmm.
Used.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Top range over.
And then the other one would be for RV park later on when that comes about. Yes.
One thing I wanted to say, as far as the savings end of it, like we have a man on call, and they do it on a rotation basis, Saturday and Sunday. A couple 3 hours on Saturday is this very trash thing, making our third or fourth run, whatever it is of the week. This way, I wouldn't have anybody working on Saturday and Sunday, because that same man, to keep from paying overtime, is off Thursday and Friday of the next week. Okay, so now that's one more man I can put on my staff during the week when the work orders are coming in, and I'm not a man short. You'd be surprised if you get a man short in my department. That's 10%, and that man may be the man with the commercial driver's license, the man that's more expertise on a backhoe than the other guys, the guy that's more familiar with electricity. This very week, I needed the guy that was as familiar, almost as familiar as I am with the plumbing, to take care of the job. I couldn't because he was off, because he worked last week. With this trash situation, if we can get this thing done, that'll eliminate the guys coming in. You can still make your emergency calls. They'll go straight to me. And what's an emergency to some folks may not be an emergency. Some emergencies may wait till Monday. Some pure emergencies. And I'll have a guy I can call. He come in and do that job and that job only, and get off the clock.
Right.
So that'll save itself more. You 3,000 number out there, so I believe it's going to be more. I know it's going to be more than that as far as savings and just what I have available during the week to do on Thursday and Friday. I'll have a full staff and I won't be short. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Steve. Any more discussion? All in favor? 4 members voting. Motion passes. Yeah. Okay. Could I please have all of the candidates up front who are running for the election to pick the number for on the ballot? No, I didn't say one, I said walk.
Yes.
We're gonna have to draw straws for who draws first. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. Just me being silly, okay. Nobody is, lighthearted mood today.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? You just come reach in and draw a number. Start with the lady, that's no possible way to do
Then they just stand over there.
Find a roof going, keep going. It's like you're gonna put a blindfold on you and shoot me. The first person to draw is Vernon Castle. Number 3.
Vote for number 3.
Name?
Be sweet. Be sweet.
What's her name?
Myrna Castle.
Vernon Castle, I said her name.
Well, we didn't hear it.
Oh,
Number 1. No, it's 2.
Well, we got 3
We're gonna have
too.
to check these now.
Jack? What's your last? Howard. Howard. And you've got number 4.
We know who's number 1.
Nobody. Gee, would that be? I don't think anybody knows this guy.
Bill Harmon.
That says 1?
It says 1.
Imagine that.
Wow.
There you are, ladies and gentlemen. The position on the ballot as it is, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we got a point to, who's the golf team? You got the name.
I got it, yeah, the name.
Well, he got a red license.
Well, it should be, I got it on the front here. Richard Laxon? Yeah. Okay, moving right along. Appointment for golf committee member, Richard Laxman. Do I have a motion, please?
Yes. I move that Richard Laxton be approved for,
Appointment.
to the Executive Golf Committee to replace outgoing Larry Farwell.
Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes. 4 members voting. Appointment to the Architectural Committee to replace Mr. Giblin with Miss Giblin. Keep it in the family. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we appoint Phyllis Giblin to the Architectural Committee, replacing Steve Giblin.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Motion passes with 4 members voting. All right, you got any names on that particular paper?
Brianna, can you grab the 15-minute discussion?
This should be over there, the last one. Oh, you're gonna want it around. I can't even read that last name. Can you read that last name? Oh, is it Brown? Okay. Sally Brown?
My questions were answered.
They were?
They were.
Well, that's good, thank you.
You marked me off.
Mary Potlow, were your questions answered?
No, actually, I put all my trash out on Monday and they only took one thing. So my question is, when are we gonna do all the trash on one day?
Well, we were waiting to get, Steve up and running on his feet, and I'm gonna be putting in, with the massive mail out for election ballots, the flyers, so to let everyone know when this is starting.
Oh, good.
But until Steve got up on his feet, gets an idea of what's happening amongst his team, that's when I'm gonna execute it. So it should be right around the election time that we start this.
Perfect.
Thank you. At this time, we'll recess. Wait. One more.
I'm sorry, I forgot to sign it.
You've done that last time. What else? We need to get something around your finger.
Those of you who are running for the board, you got your letter, is that correct?
Yes, I passed them out.
You passed them out. Thank you very much. I just wanted to remind everybody that we are having a Meet the Candidates on the 9th of February at 10 a.m. at the Service Club.
Thank you. Really?
I just want to make an observation to let you guys know. At the statue, the lights are out on the flags at night. Were you aware of that?
No. I'm home at night.
I just wanted to bring that into your attention. The
Okay.
statue is lit up, but the flags are not.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, say again, please.
The flags are not lit up at the statue.
At the empty statue.
At the saddle statue. The statue is lit up, but the flag, that flag is not.
That allows us to fly that flag at night if there's lights on it. You gotta take it down. We'll get it, thank you.
There's one more.
I can see that. Yes.
I just had a question. How much money did you approve for these traveling dumpsters?
The maximum is 7,000, but they're gonna shop to see if they can get them cheaper.
Bring them down.
So does that mean that if they can get 2 for 3,500, one can go into unit 1 and one can go out to the RV park? To speed that process up a little bit for y'all? Okay.
It is now 10:23. We're going to adjourn for the executive session.